Welcome back to another episode of Wes and Drew's Movie Reviews. I'm your host, Wes Malott, and this is my co-host. Oh, Andrew wants to play Invisible today, so I'm just going to review Pet Sematary all by myself. Pet Sematary is an adaptation of a novel by Stephen King and also a remake of the 1989 film. It follows Dr. Lewis Creed, who moves his family to Maine, where he meets a friendly yet mysterious local named Jud. After the Creed's cat Church is accidentally killed, Jud helps Lewis bury it on this old Indian burial ground that brings pets back to life so that their children never have to know the truth. The cat returns to life, albeit its personality changed for the worse. When someone close to Lewis dies, Lewis decides to bury the person on the same burial ground to see if it will bring them back, which proves to Lewis sometimes dead is better. I'm just going to get this out of the way and say that I thought the original 1989 version of Pet Sematary was kind of meh. I saw it when I was really young and I never found the movie to be particularly interesting or scary. And I'm sorry to say I thought this one was very meh too. But first, let's jump into what I did like about this movie. All of the performances in this movie are top notch. Jason Clarke, who plays the dad in the movie, is phenomenal. I really like Jason Clarke as an actor, and hopefully he gets more leading roles out of this film, because he is great in everything that he is in and really deserves to be an A-lister at this point. My favorite performance of the entire movie was Amy Seimetz as the mother. I first heard of her in a little indie film called Upstream Color, directed by Shane Carruth, and she completely steals this movie. Both of the kids are really good in this movie, especially the actress who plays the daughter Ellie. I don't know how you pronounce her name. Jetta Lawrence, I think. I don't know how to pronounce that. She is terrific and terrifyingly good in this movie. I'm really excited to see where her acting career goes from here. And then there's John Lithgow, who in my opinion delivers one of his finest performances in this movie. He kind of straddles this line between mystery and vulnerability really well, and I think his performance is one of the best in this really well acted movie. And then there's Church, the cat, who is just incredible in this movie. Probably one of the better pet performances I've seen in a movie, aside from the dog from Widows and Game Night, because that dog is awesome and cute and I love it. I love him to pieces. Pet Sematary does provide a good amount of suspenseful moments, and it does have its fair share of effective jump scares. I'm not going to get into the differences from this 2019 version of Pet Sematary and the novel / the 1989 version, but let's just say I really liked the creative differences that they chose with this movie. I think that's one of the stronger aspects of the movie. And then there's the ending. Without giving anything away, I thought it was really chilling and very effective. Now let's get into the bad, or where I think the movie could have improved to make it a better film. The first half of this movie is a lot of setup with a lot of exposition. There are way too many scenes of characters explaining exactly what you're seeing, or reading things directly out of a book to explain to the character / you, the audience, what you're seeing. Which I think that this movie kind of needs a similar setup, but I feel that the movie would have been stronger had they dialed back that exposition and kept some things out. At this point, we're all familiar with the mythos that is Pet Sematary, and I think that we don't need these long scenes to explain what we all kind of already know. Some exposition here and there where you really feel that the audience might not understand something could be good, but there is just way too much. The father character, even though I like Jason Clarke's performance in this movie a lot, and I think he's a tremendous actor, I think the character itself is just underbaked and kind of underwritten, and he's the main focal point of this movie. The mother character, on the other hand, is really well developed and has a lot of backstory, and she's not the focus of the movie. I think that if maybe the roles were reversed and the mother was more of the main character while the father being a complementary character, the movie would be a lot stronger in that we would care a little bit more about the main character. As is, we kind of just are expected to care about the father because he's the main character, yet we really don't get much into his character other than that he doesn't believe in an afterlife. That's basically the extent of character development we get with the father. There is one big scene kind of at the middle of this movie that has some really questionable writing choices, which differ from both the novel and the 1989 version of this film. Without getting into any spoilers, one character does something, and like I said, going back to the exposition and the explaining, he explains why he did it to another character, and the reasoning just makes no sense whatsoever unless this character is a bad guy, for lack of a better word. And he clearly isn't a bad guy, so it makes you kind of wonder why that character would do something that he knew was wrong. It really doesn't make much sense, and in my opinion, I think it's kind of a showcase of some of the poor writing of the film. I did say earlier that I thought the movie had a fair amount of suspense and jump scares. However, I think that when the movie really mattered in the last third of this movie, it kind of rushes through some scenes without building enough suspense or tension. Without diving into any spoilers whatsoever, I think that if the directors were to have taken their time during some crucial scenes in the climax of the movie, the film would have been a lot scarier and more impactful. I just wanted a little bit more out of some scenes to make it truly effective for me. I'm going to give Pet Sematary a C. To me, even though the remake does provide some different creative choices than the novel in the 1989 movie, it just didn't do enough to really justify its existence. That's going to do it for this week's episode of Wes and Drew's Movie Reviews. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, share it, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment below, and then tune in next week for another episode of Wes and Drew's Movie Reviews. It's a lot. That's a mouthful. See you next week.